Hi, everybody. Just a quick tip. If you want, you can speed this video up and you can put it on 1.5 speed or 2 times speed if you wish, just to get it going a little faster. So I want to show you a few planning tools that you can use using AI as your companion thought partner. This is invaluable kind of stuff, right? No longer do you have to go and scour the internet or look on Google or go back through old books and files to find exactly the documents that you need. Now you've got this at your fingertips. And even let's say if you need a focus question, you know that you want to focus on maybe the early documents, let's say for a US history class. You want to focus on a review kind of for maybe a 10th or 11th grade US history class. You want them to know, well, what were the original founding fathers' American values, and are they aspirational? Did they get actualized? Kind of doing like a then and now kind of deal to get students thinking and to get them engaged in what do Americans really value? What do they say they value? What do they actually value through actions? So here I am at ChatGPT, obviously. And I've got a question that I've already typed up. So what might be a good focus question for a Socratic seminar that takes place in an early U.S. history class, perhaps around American values? I would like to have students compare then versus now using primary source documents and taking a deeper look at whether the values set forth by the founders were, what was the word I used? Oh, aspirational, sorry. Aspirational, or were they realized? Let's see what we get. So, well, thank you very much. Strong, thought-provoking. Here's a focus question. To what extent were the values expressed by the founders, such as liberty, truly realized in early America? And how do these ideals compare to American society today? See, that's not bad, right? And it's a little better than my blah, blah, blah. And if I wanted to, I could take this and say, okay, can you pare this down a little bit? So it's telling me what it allows students to do. Great. Can you pare that question down just a bit and put it into student-friendly language? Okay, did the founding fathers truly live up? Okay, all right, so it's pared down a little bit. So if I liked this, I could go ahead with it, right? Now, I did try this just earlier, a few minutes ago, and I didn't add the extra, and it gave me a few additional options. So it can be worth it to try it out a couple of different ways and see what it comes up with to see what you might like and what you can work with. The key is to keep prompting and keep asking. Yeah. And so I might even say, what might you suggest in terms of primary source documents for students to engage in from the beginnings of the United States? And what events or documents might you have them look at from contemporary society to see if these values have been realized? Now notice this isn't a yes or no question. Students can come in with a variety of things to say. The goal, though, is to get them to focus on text in order to support their thinking. That's always the way with a Socratic seminar. You want them to come in and feel like, okay, I've got something to say because I did this reading. So here's some ideas it had for me. So the Declaration of Independence, U.S. Constitution, Federalist number 10. Okay, Abigail Adams' letter, that's an interesting one. Remember the ladies, that might be cool. Now, here's also a thing. As I'm building my Socratic seminar and building my preparation declaration document if I'm going to make them a template and provide it to them. I could provide some choices. I could also say, ooh, I want just one set of students to focus on the Declaration of Independence. I want one set of students to focus on the women's perspective and read this and pull this in. Maybe I'm thinking of fishbowl. It just kind of depends, right? But I have a whole bunch of great options here. Ooh, I love this one, Frederick Douglass. Oh, snaps, that's a great one. And Native American speeches or treaties. Okay, and then the contemporary documents. So I could go through here and think about, well, what is it that I think would be good for discussion, that I think students would really engage in, knowing my students in my classroom. Obviously, you want to do some community building. You want to understand who your students are, what their background is, and then also you want to prepare them for having these sorts of discussions where, one, there's no correct answer. 2, you have to support your thinking. And 3, you have to enter and engage with respect for others' viewpoints and ideas that they may pose. So sometimes you're going to be discussing some stuff that can get a little testy. So you want to make sure that you prepare students for those possibilities. Okay, so anyway, it's got all these things for me here. Isn't that lovely? Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to hop over to another one of my favorite sites. Now this is Perplexity. Perplexity can actually give you links to the articles and it can kind of curate a set for you, which is awesome. So it's kind of like having a librarian at your fingertips. So instead of doing a Google search for each of those documents, which I could do, I can also just see, well, what are some primary and secondary sources that discuss American values from the time of the Founding Fathers up until today, blah, 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 right? Now, what I'd like to do, though, is I want to go back and I want to grab this question and I want to try again. So I'm going to go over here to the plus sign. Oh, yeah, I forgot to log in. Oops. Boom. Okay. Now, let me see. I'm just going to try a whole new thread here. Based on this question for a Socratic seminar, what primary and secondary sources might you provide to me? I am seeking documents from the times of the start of the United States. I could have said that better. To compare up with contemporary issues and events that seem to reveal American values, and whether whether the founders' ideas and values have been actualized or not. Here's the question. Oh, oopsie. So let's see what I get. Now again, prompting is everything with AI tools. So if the prompt isn't specific enough, you're not going to get what you want. If it's too specific, it might not be great either. So it's kind of like finding that sweet spot. And you can go back and forth by asking follow-ups as it shows down here. So let's see what it gave me. Here's my answer. So it gives you an answer. So primary sources from the founding era. And a lot of these are similar to the ones from ChatGPT, but maybe not exact. So I might be like, I really want that Abigail Adams letter, and I really want that Frederick Douglass speech as well. So I'm going to make sure to find those things, okay? Or maybe I could ask Perplexity also to add those in. So using these sources, okay, and then related. So, now, you can also take a look at all of the sources, and here are the links for you, right? Now, what you'll notice, though, is in the answer, it cites them for you, and you can go ahead and click on those. Like, let's say if I see that, oh, the Declaration of Independence. So yeah, I would definitely use that one. So I would click on that. Excellent. But I would want to find the most reader. So here we have this document. If I go back into Perplexity and I scroll down, I'm noticing not a whole lot of current event stuff. Here's some related questions. Oh, I like this last one. So I'm going to see what it gives me. Oh, they both align with and conflict. Okay, so this could be interesting. And these are some things I could look at. Ongoing debate. All right, and then again, I could take a look at my sources and see, well, what are the things that it's pulling up for me? What do I like? What do I want to grab to put into my template that I would provide to students? Now, one other tool that I want to show you, and some of you may have access to this and some of you may not. It is a tool through Google, so if you have a Google account, likely you have access to this tool. This is Notebook LM. So all you have to do is you go in and you just type in Notebook LM, comes up like this, and then you try Notebook LM, if you click on it, and it'll say, what would you like to do? I want to create a new notebook. Now here's the thing. This is such a great planning tool in general for any kind of unit planning, but for a Socratic seminar where we want students to have multiple texts and maybe different types of text, maybe some videos too and that sort of thing, Notebook LM can provide. So I want to discover sources. So again, I'm going to go back and I am going to grab my question here. And I'm going to go ahead and pop it in and see. I want sources to support this question, both primary and secondary are great. And I would like to have some from the times of the beginning of the United States and some from contemporary, porary United States issues and events. All right, let's see what we get. Now, Notebook LM has some great features. So right here they've just dug up a bunch of sources for me. The Myth of American Exceptionalism. That might be interesting. Oh man, the lasting legacy of slavery in America. That would be an important thing to include and to discuss. Let's see. Progress towards gender equality in the United States. Now, if I like all of these sources, I can import them all. Or if there are certain ones that I don't want, I can uncheck them, right? But I'm going to go ahead and I'll just import them all just for the sake of time here. And notice it's going to give me a little summation here in the center. This might be something that I could copy and paste and give to students, like, hey, just a heads up as to what all these sources are about. Now, here's something else that's cool about Notebook LM. Let's say if I want to unselect that. Oh, by the way, I have to save this to Note if I want to be able to get to it later, because I'm going to start. But just know that this is a great way for you guys to go ahead and grab sources, refine your focus question, kind of explore with the use of AI as a thought partner to see what you can do to create a really awesome and thought-provoking Socratic seminar for your students.